Korres is a Greek beauty brand that happens to have fragrances, and I never hear anyone talk about them. I own 9 of them, and I thought it'd be fun to do a ranking for you guys. So if you want to hear my thoughts on these 9 Greek brand Korres fragrances, keep watching. Hello, my gorgeous ones. Welcome to Alicia Budget Beauty. My name is Alicia. Here on my channel, I love all things affordable fashion, beauty, and fragrance. I do hauls, tutorials, reviews, perfume rankings, all sorts of fun stuff. So if that sounds good to you, please subscribe, stick around, be a friend. Okay, you guys, let's go ahead and hop into this ranking. And I will say, I have these 9, not because I really intentionally set out to collect them. I've got a little carried away whenever I realized how cheap I could get these fragrances. And truth be told, in this ranking, you will hear my reasons why, but there are 2 that I probably won't keep very much longer within my collection. Not because they're not good. Actually, all these fragrances I think are pretty good fragrances. It's just the bottom 2 are too masculine for me. So that's a little spoiler alert, but they're not bad. And, but I did go a little bit ham when I was purchasing them because you guys, they do really awesome sales on their website. That's my little tip. You can also get a lot of their fragrances off of FragranceNet. But if you pay attention to their 30–40% off sale on their actual site, I think that I got all of these for around $30 each. And for a large bottle, and they're nice, I was like, oh, let me just get them all. So I didn't mean to get 9. It just happens sometimes, okay? Okay, I'm being a little bit more mindful now. But before I decluttered those bottom 2, I wanted to do this ranking. So let me go ahead and get started. So the last one at number 9 is Philosia. And I love that they have the notes on the bottle, so I can just read them right off to you guys. This is bergamot, orange, mandarin, pine, eucalyptus, fir balsam, anise star, musk, cedarwood, gaiac wood, and patchouli. Again, it is not because this is a terrible fragrance. It is just very, very masculine. And actually, this one, I don't think it's bad, but I will say this reminds me the most of like a traditional men's aftershave. Growing up, my dad did not wear cologne ever. I don't think I ever saw him spray cologne a day in his life. He did have this aftershave though, and this reminds me of that. I typically really like pine and eucalyptus. Other notes in here I normally like is bergamot, cedar wood. I even like gaiac wood, but something about all these together is just like a burly man. This is a burly man scent who isn't looking to even smell designer, who is not looking to smell niche really either, but just likes that sort of aftershave, you know, on your skin and you scream, that type of scent. So it's not terrible. It just, man, it really makes me feel like a 40-something-year-old man in the 90s is what this reminds me of. So this is not for me, and I don't think it's terrible. I don't think my husband would even like this one. It's just not his style. But so yeah, that is number 9, and that is Philosia. Now, number 8 is Oceanic Amber, and I actually like this one a lot better, but this is also too masculine for me. Now, they only list 3 notes on here. All the rest have much more, so I don't know if they just, I don't know, cut some out to put on the bottle, but this is amber, peppermint, and cardamom. Man, those are 3 notes that I really, really love. And this, what this one reminds me so much of are like Banana Republic type of fragrances. Or if you remember, Eddie Bauer was a store, I don't even know if that exists anymore, but it was a store whenever I was growing up. This one is much more refined, a little more sophisticated than the last one. This one smells more so like a cologne instead of an aftershave. And I think this one would be great on a man. I still don't know if this is my husband's style. If it was, I'd love it because I think this one smells really, really good. It's warm. I love the cardamom in it, but this one I can get away with wearing, but the whole time I'm thinking, man, this would smell so much better on a man. So I do really like this one. And I do recommend it for men. Also, I want to say, I know I'm going to be asked, and then I know some people, they're hold back on purchasing Korres is longevity. Some of these last a little bit longer than others. If there's patchouli in it, it's gonna last a little bit longer because that is just a note that kind of grounds things and prolongs the wear time. I get on some of these about 3 to 4 hours good on the skin. That's with about 2 sprays. 3 to 4 hours, you're good to go. Lasts longer on clothing. Obviously, you can get a good like 6 to 8 if you're spraying the clothing. And then some of these also just, it becomes more of a scent bubble thing where you're not gonna project to everyone in the room. You're gonna be able to smell it if you're close up to you on your own skin. That is, that's the power of these fragrances. But you know, I just think for 50 mils and paying like 30, 40 bucks at the most if you get them on sale, I think that's pretty much to be expected. And I do think that, you know, coming in the glass bottle, I think it's a good deal still. So just keep in mind, they're not the strongest fragrances, but you can get a good 6 to 8 hours wear on the clothing if you're, you know, spraying fairly generously. So yes, at number 8 is Oceanic Amber. At number 7, we have Sikinos, and this is watermelon, freesia, bamboo, mimosa, lotus flower, salty notes, cedarwood, sandalwood, and musk. Now, I was really excited to get this because watermelon was a really popular note this summer. And, you know, there's not a ton of fragrances out there with watermelon. I love my Britney Spears Jungle Fantasy. I personally, I know maybe not everyone else loves that fragrance, but I really love it. It's kind of like a shampooey, soapy, kind of fresh, watery aquatic florals, and you know, with the watermelon in that one. Wave Child by Room 1015. That was a massive hit this summer. I finally got my nose on a sample of it, and I like it a lot. I still don't think it's like the most amazing fragrance in the world though. So I've just been on the hunt for a good watermelon fragrance. This one was okay to me, but this, I read all the notes to you already, but this one is kind of soapy, or a lot of it soapy. And sometimes I don't mind a soapy scent. You know, I wore this out by the pool the other day. It was hot. I was like, well, I just smell clean. I don't get a ton of watermelon really from this. Maybe the green rind of a watermelon, where you're getting more of that freshness and greenness instead of the actual sweet fruit. And then what else am I smelling mostly in here? I don't even get a ton of the freesia. I'm gonna say the lotus flower is probably the floral that I'm smelling the most out of this. So this is soapy, lotus flowery with a green watermelon rind is what I get from this one. So it's not horrible. I'm probably going to keep it around my collection for those times where I'm like, I don't want to smell too sweet or woody or whatever. I just want to smell really clean. That's when I would pick up the Sikinos. Now, at then number 6 is Kyma. And Kyma is lime, mandarin orange, marine, watery, pepper, cedar, vetiver, and nutmeg. And I do really like this one a lot. So this one is a little citrusy, very fresh, a little peppy with that nutmeg and pepper. So it's not overwhelmingly peppery, but you do have just like that little kick to it. This kind of honestly reminds me of like I'm not saying it smells like cucumber. It does not have a cucumber note to this, but you know the little like salads where there'll be a lot of pepper and then something fresh and crunchy like a cucumber or jicama. And maybe you're eating it out by, you know, an ocean or the pool. There's a little bit of wateriness, freshness, crispness to this, a little bit of citrus, and then just like you crack some fresh pepper on it. That's what I get from this. So What I like about a lot of their fragrances is they put me in my imaginary mind of being in Greece. I've never been. I think it would be amazing to go, but all of their fragrances make me feel like I'm in a certain place in time, maybe in Greece, whether it's right by the ocean, you know, whether it's the cool breeze, hanging out on a balcony, walking along the streets, on the coastline. They do a really good job of at least what I would imagine Greece would be like. And then probably people who have been would smell these and be able to put themselves in a particular place in Greece. So this one just, it says Greek to me a lot. Out of the ones I've already talked about, I'm like, oh, I can almost picture myself there. So, and they also lend themselves to being more summery, I feel like. There's a few in here that maybe are a little bit more fall-like. I'll tell you which ones that those are. But this one I think is perfect on a really hot day, maybe even going into fall. Not super cold weather, but just that kind of cool night, still got warmth in the day. I think this one would be perfect. So that is Kyma. Now at number 5, we have Lefko. Lefko is Lily of the Valley, Rose, Peony, Musk, Powder, White Sandalwood. Now this one I didn't love at first, but now I really like this one. And okay, there is a House of Sillage fragrance, and I cannot remember which one it is, but I got the Discovery set from their signature collection, women's signature collection, and there was one in there that I hated the opening. I was like, oh, this is like Old Lady Rose, Rose Water, the peony is too strong. I don't always love peony in a fragrance. I did not like that one at first, the House of Sillage. Later on that evening with that same fragrance, I kept smelling something that smelled so good, and it was me. And I realized that that late dry down of that House of Sillage fragrance was beautiful. This is what it smells like with the late dry down. So I don't get that yucky kind of like old lady opening to this. I get just a really beautiful, soft, delicate, feminine rose and peony in here. It is a little bit powdery. The sandalwood is in the background. You're mainly getting a very light, soft, powdery, feminine, girly peony and rose. That's what you're getting from this. So I actually have grown to really like it. And if you like a powdery rose peony fragrance, I think you would really like this one. Now, coming in at number 4, this is the one that I'd say is probably the most fall or colder weather appropriate out of all 9 of these. And that is Midnight Dahlia. It is lychee, dahlia, bergamot, peony, cedarwood, raspberry, patchouli, gourmand, amber. And this one is a very jammy raspberry, like a thick, syrupy, jammy raspberry, and patchouli is what I mainly get out of this. Now, I always have to say, you guys know me and patchouli, and like we butt heads a lot. Sometimes we're friends. This is the type of patchouli that I can manage and I can handle. This is the type of patchouli that is in La Vie La Belle, something like that. But the difference is I really do not like La Vie La Belle at all. I can't stand it. I don't think it's mixed well. I think it's one of the most overrated perfumes. If you love it, awesome. I just personally don't love it. This is a lot better to me because just the raspberry is very, you know, just rich, and it is kind of dark with that black dahlia as well. So this is kind of like your femme fatale. It's a little bit designer smelling, but better than a lot of them in my opinion. And this, since it does have that kind of heavy patchouli base to it, then this one does last the longest, I feel like, too. Out of all 9 of these, it's the longest lasting. And it's also the more cold weather appropriate. It's not too heavy that you can't wear it in warmer weather either. So that is a black dahlia. And for my designer lovers and anyone that does like a cleaner, fruitier patchouli, I think you would really like this one. Okay, coming in at number 3 is Vanilla Freesia. And it is bergamot, tea, lychee, jasmine, peach, freesia, vanilla, patchouli, and musk. Now, the vanilla in here is not your typical vanilla. We are not getting a gourmand vanilla from this. We're not getting an ultra creamy milky vanilla from this. You get a lot more of a very kind of bubbly, almost like Freesia, a little bit tangy. You're getting the tea in here is bright, a little bit citrusy in the background, ever so slightly herbally, but it does kind of have this almost like sweet and sour, tangy, burnt sugary sort of scent to it. So this isn't for, you know, someone who loves like a Bath and Body Works vanilla fragrance or even a Baker's vanilla. You're not going to get that. This is for someone that likes a little bit of a tangy, fruity, burnt sugary sort of scent. Definitely have to love some Freesia. I really, really like Freesia. So that's vanilla Freesia. Just, I don't know. The vanilla is a little misleading in this name, but I do really like this fragrance. At number 2 is, actually, these are so hard. I had this at number 1 for so long, and then I was like, well, maybe I like the other one. My number 1 and number 2 could absolutely switch places. This is Avgoustos. And it is mandarin, lavender, bergamot, fig, lemon tree leaves, orange blossom, ambergris, musky, cedarwood. I love this one so much. This is such a relaxing, calming scent to me. I also really, really love fig, and the lemon tree in here, the cedar, the fig. It's so bright, and then the citrus is in the beginning. It's very, very bright, and the opening is not as good as the dry down. The dry down really has this sort of like sweetness that comes about. It's a very natural sweetness. It is not like a sugary sweetness. It just all kind of warms together, and it feels like you want to be laying in a hammock, you know, the wind, the ocean breeze hitting your hair, and you're just like in a trance. You could take a nap with it. It is so pretty in the heat, but it's also really comforting when it's a little bit cooler as well. This is for my fig lovers. If you love fig, I think this is such a worthy and unspoken about fragrance that I think is unjustly so. I think it is so good. I love it. It is definitely more of a personal scent. Like, you're not going to fill a room with this, but I feel like a lot of times a fig fragrance is that sort. Fig and tea can be these very comforting fragrances that it's more so for you than for someone else. Someone up close can smell this on you as well, but this is, if you're just a fig lover and you want that relaxing scent, go to feeling like you're on a coast and just serene, this one is for you, and it is Avgoustos. So number 1, and like I said, I could switch out number 1 and number 2 on any given day, but it is Aegean Bronze. And this is cedarite, bergamot, freesia, burnt sugar, frangipani, sandicord, vanilla, and musk. I realized I did not wear this enough this summer, and I did not really give it love on my channel when I was doing my summer fragrances. And I feel kind of guilty about that because I feel like I was gatekeeping a bit. But you guys, this is definitely one of my favorite kind of vacay, beachy scents. This isn't really sunscreeny. This is more of that frangipani. So you're getting that tropical floral, and then there is that beautiful saltiness in the sand and the musk. And this one, I really picture that it's late afternoon, maybe the sun is starting to set over the ocean, your toes are in the sand, there's, you know, some heat that's made, like a little bit of sweat just beat up on your nose, but you don't have body odor. It's just like a little bit of that, you know, sweat and salt mixing with the scent of a frangipani flower behind the ear, and just that kind of clean muskiness scent. It is so pretty. It is so pretty. And it's, again, I'm one that I'm like, why don't more people talk about this? When they talk about perfect tropical vacay fragrances. So, you know, when you hear tropical, some people think like, oh, fruity tropical, or they think sunscreeny, but then the other side of it is that salt, sand, and frangipani, and this is that. It is really, really, really good. And it's very highly rated on Fragrantica too. So those that know about it know, like, this is the real deal. This is really, really, really good. I know it's the end of the summer, but if you can get your hands on this and wear it, like, you know, maybe another month and then put it away for next summer, or if you go on vacation during the colder months, take this with you. It is absolutely beautiful. That is it, you guys. That is my ranking of my Korres fragrances. Let me know if you guys have tried any. Let me know what your favorites are. Let me know if you're gonna pick any up. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, have fun shopping, budget shopping, and smelling fabulous. Bye.